Hello and welcome to Property Insight. Welcome to sunny Chatteris in Cambridgeshire. We're on site today with property developer Glenn Taylforth to tell us all about his latest property development. Behind me is an amazing 4-bed detached executive home, and it's in the middle of being built right now, and we're going to take a look round. Glenn, we've just walked in through the front door of this 4-bed executive home, detached building. Clearly lots of work still to do, but it's starting to take great shape. As you walk into the house, what's off the hallway access?
So from the main entrance, you're going to have the oaken glass staircase, which will come in straight from the 2 side lights on the main door. To the left, you've got the lounge, and to the right, you've got the study and downstairs toilet. It's a nice light and airy, and then that brings you through into the main living area of the house, which we sort of designed based on what we done in our own family home, which is to create a nice big lounge, living dining area, which typically in our house we live in. We don't use the other areas of the house. This is what we use. So you'll have a nice big kitchen area here, island, table, and then you'll have your seating area there, which leads into the back garden. And the back garden is something that we're really happy with for a new build. The fact that it's a back garden, it is a proper garden that you can enjoy with your family. It's not a postage stamp that you get on a lot of other properties. So that's the downstairs. One revision we had that took an extra 8 weeks was adding this little single story lean-to at the back. It just gave a bit more character to the house and meant that the kitchen flowed better. It meant we could have an island and a table and have space to put them in, which is a mistake that we missed in the first place, but luckily we spotted it before we built it out so we could make the change. So that's downstairs.
Fantastic. It's going to be a really great living space for the family, isn't it? I can just imagine it. Okay, through here.
Large garage. Couldn't quite get a double garage in, but we've got a 1.5 garage. So reality is very few people do actually park their car in the garage. So it's more the fact of having that space. Typically a big 4-bed house, it's going to have a family in, so bikes, all that storage that we know we need and we'll have it at home, so that'll go in there.
Fantastic. And above us upstairs, in the hallway here, you're going to have a really impressive staircase leading up to 4 bedrooms? 4
double bedrooms, 2 master bedroom and the 2nd bedroom we've got en suite, and then the other 2 bedrooms are all doubles. And we've got a huge bathroom. We did debate shrinking it down, but I think we're going to keep it at the size it is, which is a 9 square metre bathroom. So we can have a big shower in there and a standalone bath, again, really to give that statement.
And it's June 2024 right now. When were spades first put into the ground?
So we started in November for a week, and we pulled out because we had to pile the site. But as everyone knows, it has rained constantly up until the last couple of weeks. So we pulled out after 1 week because it was just unworkable. We come back in the first week of January. All the guys so far, they've really pushed on when things have been against us quite a bit, but that's put us where we are now, which has always been with the end goal of having them ready for sort of August, September to enable us to get them on the market and the buyers to be in here, fingers crossed, for Christmas.
How did you find the plot of land to build this?
So the initial plot for the bungalow was on Rightmove, which we found a week after completing some development training with a local developer, which we'd found, and we've been watching him for a while, and we decided we were happy with him, so we signed up to do some training and mentorship with him. We found that very quickly through Rightmove. The issue was, after agreeing to purchase it, we had quite a few problems with the title deeds, with access. One, due to the previous developer had a ransom strip, and secondly, all the title deeds had been written up incorrectly for the rights of access. Basically, we could have built these 2 properties without the 2 owners of these having responsibility for the shared driveway, which wouldn't have been fair on the existing 4 properties. So we had to get them totally redrawn up, which was another few pounds to add to the build cost, but it was the right thing to do in the grand scheme of things. So,
how long did the conveyancing take from start to finish, given those complications?
About 18 months. It was quite a long, drawn-out process. The deal had fallen over twice before with other previous people trying to purchase, which we discovered is pretty much the reason why. Luckily, we had quite a lot going on with our other developments of refurbishments, so we managed to just keep peddling that in the background.
So 18 months takes you to November 23, does it? And then
yep, and within that time as well, we also spoke to this neighbour here because this piece of land was separate. We agreed with her to buy the land subject to plan, and that went through as well. That enabled us to get started in November.
Fantastic. And when do you think the final touches will be put to the properties so they're ready to put
We're
on the
hoping
market?
to have them both marketed by September. You've got the summer holidays, which we all know isn't a great time for listing and selling properties. So in a perfect world, we wanted to get in before the summer holidays, but I don't think we'll achieve that. So we'll be looking to go on September time to get them marketed and sold by Christmas.
So you're looking to sell, that's your exit for both.
Absolutely.
Looking to sell. Is there a rental demand? Would these properties work as rentals, do you think?
I think rental demand, anything called rent, is the reality at the moment. The problem is the value of the property and what we'd get as a monthly rent, it just doesn't make it feasible to rent them. It would have to be an absolute worst case scenario for us to do that. And again, fingers crossed, not in our control, but over the course of August and then October, potentially a couple of rate drops would be quite nice to make it a bit more enticing to buyers to come in and buy the property as well.
Just some top level numbers on the deal. So could you share with us the purchase price for the land, the build costs, and what you think the end sales value will be for the two houses?
150 we purchased the land for. There's probably then about £30,000 worth of legal costs come into it. Our build costs are going to come in at about between 450 and 5, and then we've got interest on the money that we raised as well to it. So very broad range of where the profit could come. A lot of developers probably wouldn't touch the deal with what we're going to make out of it, but it was more about doing it and learning. As long as we always said, absolute, God forbid, worst case scenario, as long as we cover ourselves and don't make a loss on it, we'll do that, take the learnings and then decide whether we're going to do future builds after this.
And you've been on site, I think, virtually every day that there has been work, so you've learnt a lot as you've been going
so
on.
I took on the role as project manager for a costing basis and a learning basis for myself. We took people on board, so we took a health and safety officer on to work for us, to come and do surveys at the site for us to make sure we're operating legally, set up all of our construction phase plans and things like that to make sure. We haven't had a HSA visit, but it is all fully registered with the HSE, so no issues there.
What would you say are the main one or two lessons that you've learned watching the properties getting built?
Build them in a country that doesn't rain. As I say, absolutely fair play to the guys, and they've really ploughed through some horrendous weather. It's really affected the build, but we've still managed to crack on and do it in reasonable time considering all the issues we've had with that. And the biggest one was the piling. We didn't realise to start with, so we had to add that to the schedule as well to get that done. You
mentioned with all the rain and the piling, there was some problems that you had with the collars and the concrete, I think?
Yeah, it's just pure down to the amount of the rain coming down. When they do the piles, they put a cardboard collar at the top before filling it with concrete each day. There was that much water saturation on some days that a couple of the collars failed and water went in it. When we had the integrity test, that showed up, so we had to make some repairs to them collars to get them signed off. Because without that, ultimately, we wouldn't get the building control sign off to sign the properties off at the end.
There are two sites, you're building two houses.
Yeah.
There's also the 3-bed detached bungalow.
Yeah.
Tell us about the planning that you needed.
So when we brought this, it already had planning on it. So when we purchased it, as I say, it's listed on Rightmove and it had planning for this 3-bed bungalow we've got here. What we done was agreed with the lady that lived next door to purchase her back garden subject to planning, which we got. So once we achieved the planning permission for the 4-bed, we then completed the purchase of that land and then started on site for both properties.
And the plot of land that is the back garden, you originally wanted a larger back garden, correct?
Yes, slight problem with the person we brought it off through various reasons. Right at the end, because it took so long to purchase it, he made the decision without our consent to sell part of the back garden off, 15 metres of the back garden, which initially would have gone to beyond the tree there. We were sort of in a situation where we didn't have control of the land at the time to stop him. We wasn't aware he was doing it. So it's made a smaller garden, which ideally I would have liked it to be larger, but the feedback from the agents is it's still, for a bungalow, it will still be ample garden space.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And you've managed to secure then two properties, two plots of land adjacent to each other. The access to the properties, can you tell us a little bit about the parking space, and is there a shared drive? How's that going to work?
So shared drive, so we go through a shared access road, which is an unadopted road, which is block paved between the 4 properties we come into. we've now added to the deeds that these 2 properties will be jointly accountable with them 4, so the maintenance is shared between 6. We have caused some issues to that driveway during the construction, which we agreed with all the neighbours before the process started that we would put good at the end of it, because it's the right thing to do. And then on site, the house will have parking for 4 cars and a garage. This bungalow will have parking for 3 cars plus a garage, which is ample parking, especially nowadays compared to what you get on most estates. So really happy with that, which again make it more comfortable, more sellable, we hope, for the future buyers.
How much easier is it to build a bungalow compared with a 4-bed, 2-storey executive house?
1 story instead of 2. So yeah, it's a lot easier to do the bungalow, and in hindsight and going forward, we'd probably look to do more bungalows, is our gut feeling. But again, the site will dictate whether we go bungalows or whether we go houses.
Do you think square metre per square metre, actually your build costs are less on a bungalow?
Yeah.
Is planning permission easier to get as well?
Not so much easier, it's just the build is quicker because you've only got the 1 story to make. So yeah, definitely build, and typically you've got more chance of being a cash buyer when you do bungalow, because people downsize, and so you've got more of an option for a quicker exit. When
it came to designing the bungalow compared with the executive home, what were the main design things you were thinking about for internal layout, bedrooms, where the en-suites were?
Just good space, really. Again, everyone wants the open plan kitchen diners now. It's what people want, that style of living. But just not making shoebox bedrooms, giving bedrooms that actually are good size for people to live in. Again, trying to make it a destination for people to move into and live rather than a stopgap.
What are the main problems you've learned or experiences that you've had from building the bungalow? I know you were saying earlier about the bricks and at the ground level here.
Yeah, so because of the heights, we wasn't sure about some levels, so we went with facing brick all the way further down than what we potentially could have got away with, which was a bit of an extra cost, but it was just a bit of a safety net to make sure. Then internally, to be honest, we haven't really had anything majorly untoward happen. It's gone quite...
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you found this episode insightful, and do comment, like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video.